Hey everyone! It's been a wild several days of news ever since the April 2nd Switch 2 Direct. It's been 9 days, but it sure feels like longer. Let's do a quick recap of what has happened in those 9 days. On April 2nd, after the Direct, Nintendo announced a $450 USD price tag for the Switch 2, and an $80 USD price tag for Mario Kart World, outraging many fans. On this same day, Trump announced 46 and 49% tariffs on Vietnam and Cambodia respectively, which is where Nintendo manufactures the majority of its Switch 2s. Within the next couple days, Nintendo announced it was indefinitely delaying Switch 2 retailer pre-orders in the US, sparking concern that Nintendo may have to raise prices further to adjust for the tariffs. On April 8, one day before Canada's pre-orders were supposed to go live, Nintendo announced Canada's pre-orders were being delayed as well to align with the US. Meanwhile, Europe's retailer pre-orders went live on April 8th and quickly sold out. Then the next day, on April 9th, Trump put a pause on reciprocal tariffs for 90 days, meaning Vietnam and Cambodia now face a 10% tariff each. Phew, that was a lot. Now it's April 11th, and what I've mostly seen in the last couple days since the tariff pause, all over YouTube, Reddit, and other parts of the internet, is that US and Canada pre-orders are going to go live, imminently. I mean, why wouldn't they, now that the tariff situation is under control until a month after the Switch 2's launch? Well, there is actually a lot of reason to believe that pre-orders will not be going live anytime soon, and I haven't seen many folks on the internet voicing this viewpoint. If there is one thing we can hopefully all agree on about Trump and his tariffs, it's that describing them as unpredictable would be an understatement. Even going back to the start of February, when only Canada, Mexico, and China were in Trump's crosshairs, the tariffs have been a confusing and unpredictable on-again, off-again mess. Thus, if I was Nintendo, I would have absolutely no confidence that the tariff pause will actually last 90 days as promised. Given that, it doesn't make any sense for Nintendo to commit to pre-order dates or price any earlier than necessary. The Switch 2 announcement and launch is off to a very rocky start. Imagine the additional negative PR if Nintendo announced a price and new pre-order date, only to once again have to walk it back when the tariff situation changes, and add on a price increase before the third attempted pre-order date. No, Nintendo's going to wait until the last responsible moment to instruct retailers to start taking pre-orders. I'd love to be wrong, since I'm anxious to pre-order my Switch 2, but it simply wouldn't make sense for Nintendo to do anything else. Now, I'm not a supply chain expert, but I'm sure it still takes some time to take the pre-orders and process them appropriately, ensuring the right number of units reach the right retail outlets or get prepared for launch day shipments. So I could very well see the retailer pre-order date being adjusted to May 8th to match the My Nintendo Store pre-order date. Anything later may not leave enough time for preparations. Anything earlier than this, though, would legitimately surprise me. Nintendo knows all the units will sell out within minutes. There is no reason in this political climate to hold the pre-orders any earlier than necessary. I'm sure some people will be protesting my line of reasoning, saying Nintendo has been stockpiling Switch 2 units as fast as possible in North America as soon as the tariff pause was announced. So once the full launch supply is present, why not take pre-orders? But think about it. Even if the 90-day tariff pause is honored, Nintendo may still learn additional info regarding possible future tariffs during this 90-day window. If Nintendo learns that tariffs on Vietnam and Cambodia are likely to go back up in July, don't you think they might want to consider raising the price of the system at launch, instead of having to raise the price, probably by a larger amount, a few weeks after launch? This would distribute the cost of the tariffs to a larger number of consumers, thereby resulting in a smaller price increase to cover the tariffs. So again, it just doesn't make sense for Nintendo to commit to anything regarding pricing any earlier than they need to. And if the current 10% tariff situation holds, what will the price be? Would Nintendo dare up the price from the already announced $450 USD? Well, I'm not an expert here, but given the huge amount of backlash Nintendo has already received over the price, I think they're likely to eat the loss. 10% on $450 is $45. But if I understand how the tariffs work, they are charged against the actual cost of the goods being imported, not the MSRP, meaning the tariff charge would presumably be less than $45. But one thing I am confident about is that the June 5th launch date isn't going to change. The rest of the world will see the system launch June 5th, and Nintendo already has some Switch 2 capacity in the US. I'm sure they will want to launch what they have. Sitting on inventory indefinitely without selling it would do no good and really just mean that Nintendo is losing money over time. So there you have it. I'm predicting May 8th for other retailers to join the My Nintendo Store in offering pre-orders. What do you think? Does my reasoning make sense, or do you believe retailer pre-orders will open sooner? If the 10% tariff holds, do you think Nintendo is going to attempt a price increase? Please let me know down in the comments below. If you got value from this, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.